its growth. When they tried to go from the one-child policy to the two-child policy, their birth rate dropped. When they tried to go from the one-child policy to the two-child policy, their birth rate dropped. When they tried to go from the one-child policy to the two-child, fastest urbanization, the fastest urban, it's been the fastest policy to the two-child policy, their birth rate dropped. Aging society and history. When they tried to go from the one-child policy to the two-child policy, their birth the fastest industrialization and the fastest urbanization in history. That generates growth once, and now it's over. We stretched our experience over 7 decades. They did theirs in 1, and it was fun while it lasted. Now it's gone. The Chinese Navy is constrained by the first island chain, and those are those islands off the coast of East Asia, so Japan, the Philippines, Taiwan, and so on, that they've never been able to punch through, except when the Americans are running the show and they force everyone to be on the same side. So if the Americans leave, that doesn't work. Because the Chinese demography is in free fall, they're completely dependent on exports, which makes them economically the country in the world most dependent upon ongoing American involvement. This is a country that has almost mined out all of their resources, which makes them the single largest purchaser of every raw commodity in the world. But that requires open markets that are going away. This is a country that imports 80% of its energy, over half of which comes from the Persian Gulf and sails by no fewer than 11 countries that are pathologically hostile to the Chinese, not to mention that the Japanese have a blue water navy and China doesn't. There's nothing about this that works unless the United States holds up the ceiling, and we're done. So think of a normal demographic profile as a pyramid, with children on the bottom, young adults, retirees at the top, and mortality is built into a pyramid. That's how it's looked more or less for the last 6,000 years. More people in their teens than 20s, than 30s, than 40s, than 50s, and 60s. But with the combination of industrialization, urbanization, and now the global order, people have been able to get a bigger chunk out of life for themselves. So they move from the farm into town, they get an apartment. And when space is constrained and you're packed in with a lot of other people, the birth rate drops. So you play that forward 80 years, and in most countries we now have more people in their 50s than their 40s, than their 30s, than their 20s, than their 10s, than children. So the whole world is turned inside out. For the countries that have aged like that, now that it's been decades, they're nearing the point where they have more retirees than workers. And when we hit that flip, their economies change. So if you have a lot of young people, it's all about the consumption. If you have a lot of mature workers, it's all about the production and the savings. And if you have if you're full of retirees, it's all about absolutely nothing, because there's nowhere to grow. So what's going to happen in just the next 5 years is the world writ large flips from having a younger population of consumers and investors to a retiree population. And we have never seen that before in human history. To this point, only one country has crossed the Rubicon, Japan, and the Japanese economy today is the same size as in 1995. Well,
so what do you think? Big Splat. I've been talking about the Big Splat since 4 years ago. And here it is, the 6th of May. And on the 8th, I will have been doing this show for 4 or 5 years now. Boy, things go fast when you're having fun. And thank you for being on board, none of you. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. I hope you're having a good, beautiful day, because I sure am. Let's give you a little view of the beautiful day. That's it. That's what it looks like. Here in the deep green, right? It's leafing out. It's still got about 30% more to go. And most people don't realize that these trees are dead or dying, because the forest is changing. Right? It's going from a rainforest to a deciduous forest, and most of the trees there were oaks and birches and maples here, and now pines, long pines, and now it's being replaced by tulip poplars, and those are basically big weeds. So they don't have big, especially on this land because it's a mountain. It's a very rocky mountain. This was pretty good. 70 years ago, this was a terraced farm. That's why these morons bought this place because the terrace, there were roads kind of going up to these what they call lots. Really, it's just this and so the lot was like this here. So this, which is in the air, was the lot. So, and that's why I've been blessed to be here all by myself for the last 20 years because a I'm in the middle of a between the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Appalachians, and this is the accordion sawtooth mountain range. So, like about 800 miles got squished down into 150 this way and about 300 this way. So all the mountains are doing this up and down, up and down. Whereas Blue Ridge and Appalachian are kind of lumpy. So you go on the other side over there where the Appalachian are, and it's lumpy. So that's why they have cows and horses. A lot of horse farms here because we're kind of right on the border of Virginia, and a lot of rich people with horses. And this weekend is the beginning of the Triple Crown. It's the Derby, right? And so I have a mint julep for me. My dad, we always watched the horse races. My uncle Arthur, not Uncle Tom, actually. But he was my grandma's brother, but we still called him Uncle Tom. And he was an accountant, and he was an accountant for a lot of interesting guys, good fellas, and who had their own businesses that were semi on the up and up, pizza parlors and coffee shops and real estate. That's what the good fellows are into these days. Um, real estate. So you know, but I'd love to have somebody make a comment here about what they think's going on with their own life. I mean, do they see the conflict going on? So I hang out in three different churches for the fellowship. I go for Bible studies, right? Oh, where is it? Where is my book? So the interesting thing about the Bible, I got two copies. One that I carry with me, this little guy here. Oh, the New Testament and a few other things in there. And see what people see. Jesus said he didn't like liturgy, meaning liturgic, right? And what is the root of that but litigation? And so in this, we're always hearing about the Pharisees and the rabbis and the priests. There were three, right? And the priests were men and women. Right? That's what Mary Magdalene was. She was a temple priestess, right? They called her a whore, but no, that's not what she did. Not even close to Marvin Gaye's sexual healing. No, she was a true healer, a midwife, herbalist, a psychic surgeon. That's what. And you go to the Oracle of Delphi. Those women were also temple priestess, and they were hanging out at Delphi because in that cave, up coming through the earth were hallucinogenic gases, right? And so they would see and feel and hear things, and then interpret it. But Jesus didn't like scripture, so basically, so you had the Pharisees and the rabbis and the priests, right? And the priests were men and women, right? And in Baptist churches, you have deacons, and that's the only thing that they've let women be. Certain Baptist churches, though, have female ministers, but who knows how long that's going to last. We have a regressionary motif, even though we are in this Aquarian age, which, Piscean age is getting what you want through violence and fear. And coinage is getting what you need through, ooh, look at that, 10 minutes and 1 second. Coinage is getting what you need through love and understanding, right? And patience and grace. All the things that Jesus Christ was talking about, right? And so, people are going on and on about. So, my question of people who call themselves Bible folk. So, what's your most important um, of the Ten Commandments, right? And some people say, "Oh, thou shalt not kill," and a lot of people say, "Oh, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife." And no, that's not it, because basically, you read Genesis and Exodus and all the beginning ones. There's a lot of begatting going on, So, and Leviticus, it's all a lot of begatting, right? And also, hey, Jane, God bless you and good to see you. And thanks for your comment on the last show. What'd you think of the last show? Did you enjoy the last show? Me having lunch. Did you see that tiramisu? That was good tiramisu. And it didn't even jiggle my blood sugar. I got back after that nice meal because I didn't eat the whole thing. I only ate a third of it. I brought the rest, the other third I had for dinner, and the next third I'm making today's supper. You so so the wars, in Africa. I mean, there are a lot of wars in Africa, not just the one that they're talking about, right? And that one is a scam because it's basically, here goes our boy. Colonel Sanders has brought in a few more slaves, so it's kind of like the what you call compound branch Davidians. Oh, there's two of you there. Good to see you. And so so there are at least 8 wars going on in Africa, and pretty much all of them are in the countries that have resources. And the one that's the most just hit the skids, between the government's army, Colonel Sanders, yep. Um, and that's pretty much anyone, virtually every politician is a Colonel Sanders, right? Some ways of white, who is white, and even if he's black, he's white. Good old Obama, he was a Colonel Sanders. He did exactly what the military-industrial banking, um, you know, educational mind control media cabal wanted, and which is kind of what Ike, President Eisenhower, when he was leaving office in 1960 and Jack was taken over, he wanted to give everyone a little heads up so he would be able to say, "See, I told you so." Where Harry Truman wrote it in, and then he just whined about it. Oh, I wish I didn't do the 1947, military-industrial national security state. Oh, I didn't mean to, put everyone in jail, even though we were via, the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve, has nothing to do with the government. It's privately owned stock-held corporation, right? And they print our money. I mean, our Constitution says you're not supposed to. The Treasury Department's supposed to do it, and it's also supposed to be backed by something. And now people don't realize that when we went off the gold standard and the dollar became the petrodollar, took it away from the English pound. The thing backing it up was you and me, Mr. Um, oh, what's his name? The poster boy of Mr. Globaloni, Mr. Rothschild, the Rothschild fund, and the Warnbergs. The only time you ever hear the Warnbergs is what's his name, who is part of a boy band and then became a movie star. And so any of those people are Colonel Sanders. Anyone who manipulates, controls, um, takes advantage of people, right? For their own, economic, whatever good. And mostly it's coming from their self-loathing and ignorance and fear, right? Now, I really, when you have nothing to lose, you got nothing to lose, and pretty much no matter what, it didn't matter how much money I had. That's how much money I had. I just never spent the money I didn't have, right? And so you can live comfortably that way, right? And especially if you are not in a rush, if you take your time and get a perspective and see what's going on. And the people who, rush, 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 they basically always have to self medicate themselves. They're either drinking alcohol all the time or doing meth or crack or heroin or whatever, the self medication du jour is of this time. You know, food, sex, whatever. Having stuff, more stuff, more stuff. I have 10 cars, I can't even park them out in front of my house. It's like, more stuff. Right? Now we live in a stuffed society, so it's easy to have, we can go to Walmart and buy whatever you want for like 20 cents, it's hard not to have stuff. But, you can put yourself on a budget and say, okay, even if I'm going to Walmart, I'm only going to spend, $50 a month in Walmart. It kind of works, Then you kind of, well, I don't need that. I don't need that. I do need some socks. I do need some toilet paper, So I want some cream cheese, So it's, you can put yourself on a budget, right? And if everyone did that, we'd have a pretty, sustainable world, right? At end of World War II, basically close to 90% of every American citizen was getting close to 80% of their food from their little victory garden, right? And they were recycling everything, every piece of paper, every piece of cardboard, every tin can, they were every aluminum, anything they were recycling it and reusing and reusing and reusing until it wasn't there anymore. And we were doing pretty good. And we had enough, even during war, when things were semi-rationed, people had way more stuff than they really needed. Right? My grandma told me that, and so she always had a garden, right? And she always did a community garden, not just her own, but her and her girlfriends would work together and feed everyone in the neighborhood. Right? They had their own kitchen, because they went through the depression. So they weren't a soup, they weren't, like had a nonprofit like Goodwill or Salvation Army or any of those kind of things. They were just doing it because that was the neighborly thing to do. And now, Colonel Sanders came here from the city, from Miami, and he didn't have a clue. And I showed him how to garden, how to have chickens, how to, I'll take care of you. I haven't seen a single egg, but I helped him out, not because I was expecting an egg, right? It's because it's the thing to do, right? And he just got to feel more and more guilty, right? So it's and he's always going on about, So I sit out in the mornings. It's beautiful here, and so where the Forest Service Road is, it's east west. So the sun rises and sun sets. So the sun is always on that road in some fashion or another. And it's got all kinds of trees, so all kinds of patterns. It's really beautiful, right? So um, the dynamic is if I wake up every morning around 3 a.m. I go to bed somewhere between 8 and midnight, and depending on what I'm writing and what I'm reading. And I usually go out and watch the stars if there's stars out there for a little while. And when I get up in the morning at 3, because I drink a lot of water, I don't eat anything 4 hours before I go to sleep. and I drink a good deal of water before I go to sleep. Right, so around 3 a.m., got to take a piss. So I get up, take a piss. Feel like going back to sleep, I go back to sleep. Feel like reading, I read the Bible or whatever book I'm reading. I'll go outside and look at the stars a little bit. And sometimes if I don't feel like going back to sleep, I'll put a coat on, if it's nippy, because it's always nippy in the mountains, even in the summertime when there's no sun out. I'll put my coat on and I'll sit by the side of of the Forest Service Road where my little front lawn is, and I sit there and I watch the sun come up. First, the sky's all black, there's stars, or there's a moon, and if there's a moon, I can read the Bible by the light of the moon, right? And then, soon as that sun makes the sky pink, I can read a book, right? And so this morning, I got up at 3, well, about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Still dark, but the moon had already gone, but it was still mooning the sky, and the sun hadn't started turning the who's there? Uh, Somebody. Hello, who's this? Hello, hello. Oh, there he is. I am live on the YouTube, and I got up early. I was telling the crew I got up early in the morning and watched the sun rise, and I read my Bible. So I got a question for you.
What's that?
What is your most go-to 10 Commandments?
Well, I don't go by the Bible all that much.
Yeah, but I mean, the Bible
I
is
hear a lot of those.
it's not a law. It's
No,
a
it's but the way they put them in what order they come in and things of that nature.
yeah, but that doesn't mean I that's not the question I asked you. The question is, what is your singular go-to commandment? I mean, some say, thou shalt not kill, but man, there's a lot of killing in the Bible. But the interesting thing about that, the number one is thou, God. There's one God. I'm it, right?
That's
And
the one I go by.
right, and so the killing thing, you read the Bible, majority of it says, "Vengeance is mine. You guys aren't supposed to be killing. I'll do whatever killing needs to be done." Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where you because everyone said, no, you can kill. God tells us to kill all the time. No, he doesn't. He says the vengeance is mine, not yours. Right. So
Yeah.
that's that one. And the other one say, well, don't covet the wife, somebody else's wife. Well, that's not true. Exodus and Genesis and the first, 100 and something pages, everyone's begatting. There's a lot of begatting going on,
Yeah, big time.
a big time begatting, right? The one that is my go-to, right, is do not um, utter false witness against your neighbor.
Yeah.
That's all the others you can, say, well, it's a little this, a little that. But the Bible to me is not a law book, and it's an inspirational book.
Exactly.
That's what it is, right?
I think so too, brother.
Yep.
Thank you for that word. I like that. Hey, listen, are you gonna come to the barbecue?
You're gonna come and get me?
Well, I was wondering if you could bring the other guy in your car.
My car, I have a homeless car. It is packed to the ceiling with stuff. I barely can squeeze in myself. And I have no money for gas, so we might run out. And my car doesn't run too well. So that's why I don't really move it that much. That's why I don't move it that much. I mean, if I have to go to the doctors, that's what my car is there for, to go to the doctors. And then if I go to the doctors, I do like 10 other things. I do shopping, I do this, I do that. But pretty much, I don't do just one thing. So, but it's cool, So I'm down. I read the Bible. I'm good with whatever it is, so I don't need to go. And I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't fit it in. I asked um, Colonel Sanders, and because he's got a big truck, I said, "Hey, you want to go to this thing? You tell me you're a Christian all the time. Let's go do some Christiany stuff. Let's go have fellowship." Oh no, blah 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 blah. So okay,
Oh well, he'll come around on his time, I guess.
right.
But I guess yeah, I'll come to get to grab you guys. It'll be about an hour.
Oh, from now, for an hour from now, or like 2 o'clock.
An hour from now.
An hour from now, sure.
Yeah, because it takes about 30 minutes to get there. It's gonna take me about 30 minutes to get ready.
What time is it now?
It's I think it's around 11 o'clock. I'm not sure.
I thought we were shooting for 2, but anytime I'm here, so anytime is good for me.
Pick up as well.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to be doing a little running around. Somebody's gonna come grab you guys early.
Okay, not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I'll you know what? I'll make it 1 o'clock.
Good.
1 o'clock is a good time.
Yeah, 1 o'clock's a good time. That gives you enough time to get your ducks in a row.
Yeah,
and
my coffee and whatnot.
right. And I will try, and because
I can't get in touch with my buddy.
yeah. Well, I tried. He's driven by me about 15 times, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, let me make you breakfast. Here, I got a bottle of water. How about a cookie? Let's talk about the Bible." And he goes, I'm in the rush. I got to go. And whew, right by, right? So he's going back and so up until now, meaning from sunrise to about now, it is beautiful to be on that road. But
Yeah.
once from 11 to 3, it's like a microwave oven.
Goodness.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like we're, up in the sky. It's closer to the sun. So, and things are changing. I've been here 20 years. This used to be a rainforest. It was always gray. Now it's pretty sunny, good deal of the time, which is okay. I don't complain. But I just get under a tree, So
yeah, if you see my buddy,
I will.
Let him know I'll be there about 1 o'clock.
I will. Yep. I'll spread the word amongst the other folk to see if they want to come too, because it would be good. Because like the plan of getting all these churches to be a family rather than individual corporate entities.
Absolutely, brother. I'm with that. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. See you at 1 o'clock. Drive safe. Be good. Love you.
Bye-bye. Love you too, brother.
Yeah. I haven't been able to put his name on. Anyway, so it's same as it ever was. There is no freaking difference between it. It's like, oh, it's 10 times. No. Anyway, the that part that they call whatever and everyone's so into Revelations. It's only freaking how many pages? It's like nothing. It's like an add-on. This is like yeah. So it goes from page page well within it's from 94 to 2 from 194 to 205, less than 10 pages, and it's really it's more an advertising thing, right? Jude, I like Jude. Jude is, hey Jude. So Jude 1. A servant of Jesus Christ and brother of James. Salutations. That's who Jude was, right? And that's what we should all be, servants of Jesus Christ. Because Jesus is love's co-creation, right? To those who are called, who are believed in God the Father and kept safe for Jesus Christ, may mercy, peace, and love be yours in abundance. Right? And it is when you live in all of the above, in that faith of Jesus's unconditional forgiveness, So that's it, So that's it. Beloved, while I don't have my really strong pair of glasses, but I'll squint. Occasion of the letters from Jude. Beloved, while eagerly preparing to write to you about the salvation we share, I find it necessary to write and appeal to you to contented for the faith that was once for all uh, entrusted to the saints. So I guess this guy's writing, a few hundred years after Jesus, right? It's already an organization. They already got saints. For certain intruders have stolen in among you people who long ago were designated for this condemnation as ungodly, who pervert the grace of our God into uh, licentiousness and deny our only Master and Lord Jesus Christ. That's saying that there's people who's coming into the church and messing it up, right? Those heathens, right? But they're not, because we're all God's children. We're all our relations. We're all, and that's why Jesus was going on. No literature. Like no laws. No, we're not writing anything down here. We have to live this, and that's how you can tell who's got that spirit. If you're living it, right? If someone says, "Hey, let's talk about the Bible," and it's like, "Well, I'm in a hurry." Well, they're not living it, because if they were, they would. No matter what, I got to go to buy a pack of cigarettes. I've been dying for the cigarette. I gotta get my cigarette. I gotta get it. Oh God, I gotta get my cigarette. They come back 15 minutes later, and I said, "Hey, so you got cigarettes? So can we sit down and let me show you about cigarettes? Let me show you about nicotine and it has a spiritual tool." No. I needed to get gasoline when I got the cigarettes, but I didn't have a container, so I have to get a container now. No, I gotta go. Gotta find a container for gas. Oh, and I don't know what they were doing for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and they come by me again. Hey, how about, do you have a minute? How about a minute? No, I gotta get gasoline. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and really, okay. That's how that work out for you, right? Is that good? Is that what it should be? Is that how you're feeling it? Is that your faith in Jesus? And God center. Anyway, so that's kind of how it rolls, and it's a very interesting motif. So. Um, The thing is not to judge, which is really hard not to do. It's hard not to do. If you're a human being, you're going to be judging everything. I like red lollipops instead of blue lollipops. I like everything red, and I can't stand blue. But my Bible's green, somewhere in between. So sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes I don't. Ooh, Christianity is on a rope. It's like a soap on a rope. It's a pope on a rope. Uh, so, uh, I hear something rolling. I don't know what it is. So, let's see. 34 minutes and 34 seconds. I love when that happens. So, how you feeling? Jane, how are you feeling, girl? Uh, let's see. There's that. There's that. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. So the geopolitical thing, it's like irrelevant, right? I mean, it's interesting. I was a school, itinerant scholar in psychosocial, cultural, forensic, cultural anthropology. But you stick to shaman up on that side, and the other guy on the other side, and that's what I am. Look at this guy. I love this guy. Hey, how you doing? Hey, good to see you. Hey, hey. Now that's so patronizing. I don't know what more I can say about it. Do 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 do. Boop boop boop. Hmm. I think this guy. Come on, stop fooling around. Ah, ah. Do, 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 do. You're not really thinking what should I be doing now. I'd say be down the court, right? So you too are a great teammate. You are very empathetic. You worry too much. Stop it. Stop it. I do. I know. It's not even a good hobby, you know. Yeah, reading people, cold readings. If I don't know you, I can read you much better than if I knew you, because knowing you prejudices my point of view. Now, prejudice, when I tell people, you're prejudiced, and they go, I have some friends who are black. No, that's racist. Prejudice is when you have an opinion that you think is right. That's prejudice, right? Me, not so much. Now, I do have opinions. I do have prejudices. I mean, like, I like this and I don't like that, right? But within the construct of what people are thinking about, what they believe in, what their opinion is, I do not, have, I don't care. You want to believe something? Fine. Be fine. You want to tell me about it? That's fine, right? There's not a problem. You know, um, you have an opinion? I'd love to hear it, but that doesn't mean I can, would agree to it or care about it or even think it's worth anything, because I really don't. The only thing I have is faith in love's co-creation. Everything else is an illusion. So if you want to go there, all these scholastic guys, I don't have any scholastic gals calling me up. The only gals that call me up are my itinerant scholars, and they have a similar, worldview as I do. So my worldview is shamanic. Worldview is you're looking through the window, you're looking what's up there, the world, right? And what a shamanic worldview is that it's based on not politics or economics or science or even religion. It's more a theological point of view, right? And and it comes from the dynamic of experience rather than liturgy, a book, a law, right? And you heard us. I was talking to my friend A, and he goes, "Well, I'm not a big fan of the Bible, right?" And I kind of gave him my opinion on it, and he kind of was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. I like it," and he thanked me for that, right? So, did I say you need to be this way? No, it's more. What do you think it is? This is how I think about it, and this is what I think. Right? Okay, Jane, I talk. I'm such a stream of consciousness. By the time you make a comment about something, I have no idea what you're talking. Like, okay, about what? You kind of have to, the Colonel Sanders comment. I can understand that one. But hearts with I can go with that one. But just okay is like, I don't know what you're talking about. But that's okay too. Yeah, I don't care. Okay is if your worldview is okay, hey, I think that's as good as any other worldview, right? So, let's see, what time is it? Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, okay. I'm going to talk for another 20 minutes, give or take. and then I feel good. Yes. Oh, good. Okay. And I mostly feel good. I mean, I really do. I don't. I mean, I have. I'm my endocrinologist. I keep saying this. He has the same joke all the time of, you're the healthiest dead guy I know. Meaning, you know. So my neighbor was looking. We were talking, and my I was like, tears were rolling down my cheeks. She goes, "You're crying." I said, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, "Why is that?" Well, well, it's sunrise and we're standing in the sun. Oh, it's like going right in my eyes, and it causes me, a cry. I'm basically blind. So my eyes are responding in ways that, well, most people see how this is like all whitened up. That's kind of how I see things. It's interesting how my laptop relates to how I really see things, and all my other electronic gizmos are, they don't work like anybody else's. My guru he keeps trying to reset it, and then it just gets worse. He goes, you need to get a new one of these. I said, okay, someday. But it works as much as I need it to work. It works as much as God needs it to work for me to have to use, right? So I mean, I can talk to you guys on this thing, and I have no idea what's going on, but that's okay. Oh, now no one's watching. That's okay. Because, like I said, most of you guys watch this thing like wallpaper. You watch it later, right? Not right now. Oh, let's call somebody else. Let's see here. Let's. Oops. I can use this thing to talk to. Mm-mm-mm. There we go. See, she answers. So it's about 11:30 here. So it's probably 3 or 4 or 5 where she is. Let's see if she answers. Do-do-do-do-do. You get old, your skin is like tissue paper. You get chunks of it, and you just bump into something, and oh, she's not sure. Keep- bah. Do-do-do-do-do. Uh, well, these things on Viber, I have no idea. I give people a name, and I have no idea who they are afterwards. So let's see. Try the other phone and see if that works. Amen. Sending. So this thing, it's been sending this image here. Let's give you this image. Here's me with Donald Trump when we were at an undisclosed location doing undisclosed things. I was like, oh my God, he's doing this undisclosed thing. I can't believe it. And I was just taking a picture of myself. Now he's undisclosing it. I just, ooh, ooh. Anyway, I've sent this. Oh, there was another image that's even more fun. Let's see if I can find it. Doo, doo, doo. And that's the problem. My little phone, it doesn't really respond the way I would like it to respond. That's okay. Here's the one. Here's when Donnie and I were being the Blues Brothers, but I was playing the piano like Ray Charles, and this is really all that Donnie can do. He's like a cardboard cutout. Eh, do you guys know what gaslighting is? That's our boy Donnie. That's his what he's been doing for the last 70 years. When he left military school. Oh man, you know his uniform. He didn't have the same uniform that everybody else. He had his father's tailor-made him uniform. He looked like um, Muammar Gaddafi. When Muammar Gaddafi would dress up like um, a military guy, because he was head of Libya's military, because he was Colonel Gaddafi. Actually, he was just a sergeant. But anyway, he had a uniform that was very similar to what Harpo Marx would have worn, right? So, holy moly is all I can say. Anyway, so again, make some comments down on this side over here. Jane's doing a good job making comments in the live chat. Um, if anyone, no one's thrown anything to PayPal. It seems to still be there and working. I keep checking it every now and then and go through all its protocols. It seems to be there. And again, my um, email is the dude awake 42 at Gmail. I have a new um, what do you call those things? Trolls. But calling the guys and gals who do what they do trolls, that's like giving a troll a bad name. I know some trolls who live under the bridge, and they're quite nice people. I like the trolls, and even the whatever this troll is, I have a sense that is the same character. Oh, about 4 years ago, there was a let's see, what was his name? Yo-Yo, and his name was Human, right? And and he just whined about his parents were rich and they never gave him any money, so he had to live on the subsistence that the pittance that they gave him, which was like 100 grand a year. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice pittance. I live on about 7,000 a year, and I do pretty good. And so anyway, and he just kept calling me up, and I was being his shrink, talking about his traumas, his this and that, and my and then I'm a cheeky monkey. If I help you out and you don't seem to you just want to whine and whine about the same thing, um, you know, usually I go, see you later, bye, goodbye, and good luck, right? That's basically what I say, and I pray for you, right? And so after I did not continue to be his, listening to everything he said and try to give him some support, after about a year, you know, and someone turned me on to what PayPal was, and people were throwing, I was getting about 50 or so a month on that. And that was more than enough to be my little cushion. And this guy's got 100 G's a year, and he talked me into, going to a recording studio and putting down stories. And he had nothing. He just sent me to this place, and they did it and sent him the recordings. And he was all upset that I didn't tell the story the way he wanted me to tell it. I said, well, that's that's what a producer or a director would do, and he could have zoomed that up to you, and we could have talked about it at least. But I just kind of rambled on, and anyway, the guy in the studio thought it was great, hilarious. He thought it was loads of fun. But yo-yo, Momo, moo moo, whatever. So he turned into a troll, and the energetics of. I think he's the only troll I have. So keep it in the family, I guess. And so I don't really respond, right? And I don't really even. I show you a couple. Sometimes when it's hilarious, I'll show it to you. But that's why I kind of think it's the same person because they have the same kind of patronizing motif. Now we all are kind of we all patronize something, and so it's how you look at things. So here we are, 50 minutes and 50 seconds. So the best thing we can do individually is our best, right? And to serve love's co-creation. It's the artist in the first person. That's when you create. It's like when the guy was scribbling something on the cave wall, right? Because he just wanted to express himself within the construct of the understanding of creation. Something made all this, and I've been around science a long time, and most science, I mean, the Big Bang. That's like that was Jesus Christ, basically, right? Within when you look at it theologically, and then scientifically, and then historically through the prejudice of religion, pretty much. That's what it looks like. And the other interesting thing is another motif is that Jesus and Satan, um, or Lucifer, the illuminated one, are twins, right? And so they call him, Lucifer the morning star, and so it's an interesting motif. That's all I got to say. So, um, what do you think? So, uh, do, 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 do. Getting a little tired. Lights on. Anyway, oh, look at that. 52 minutes and 52 seconds. There's two of you there. What is your superpower? What's my superpower? Well, they are all the same kind of flavor. My superpower is trying to understand, right? And not to understand, but to overstand, because understanding means you're under the belly of the beast. Overstanding is having the perspective from the top of the mountain. Understanding is having a perspective in the valley. It's dark, it's muddy, you're surrounded, right? So I try to overstand. So my superpower is to overstand the situation, right? And to be in perspective of an empathetic perspective of the other. The other is me, not somebody else. Right? It's all my relations, the we in me. I guess my superpower is the we and me, overstanding like omnipoint. Yep. So I guess my superpower is the we and me. That's my superpower. Right? So I haven't taken a shower or a bath in over 4 years. Right? And most people would say, "Oh my god!" And I have my hose, and it's harder to take a shower in the winter time with the hose because it's usually frozen. But in the summertime, I have a nice 200-foot thing with a nice spray nozzle, and that water is toasty, right? So I soap up. First I spray up, then soap up, spray off, soap up. So that's but it's not like the shower with the cubicle where it's all steamy and nice and it's coming straight down on your head. And but you got to kind of hold the spray hosey thing like this. Anyway, but right now, my Colonel Sanders ran over our water line, our major water line, and he destroyed it. So he's no one has water. And that's a good, hospitable neighbor. Yeah, good for him. Yeah. Luckily, the Airbnb guy, he has nobody here, so they would be upset. They didn't have water. The other guy, two people, three people, they're not. I don't know if they're here or not, but anyway, so it's kind of what it is. Damn, Colonel Sanders, that house. Yep, exactly. But it's not. It's what it. Me. I was here before I had a water line, so I have drain. All the rain that hits my roof goes into catchment. So I have 1,000 gallons that can flush my toilet. And, if I wanted to, I put a hose and go down the hill. I could shower myself off. And I always have 10 gallons in 10-gallon jugs of potable water I can drink and cook with it. So it never bothers me. So I don't have a problem. He's got I don't know, 8 people living in that house, so that's a lot of shit. you know, and he's had the water off now for at least 2 days, so that's 8 people. That's a He's got 3 toilets, so I bet you all of them are filled up to the top. So then trying to flush that, ooh, that's gonna be messy. You know, me not so much. I have this one toilet that is kind of a homemade um, organic toilet. It really works quite nice, you know, and it goes from my man cave to this little box I have, and I just keep adding leaves to it, and then I have about 4 yards of really good topsoil. So, so that's my because when I got here, I did not hook up. I was pretty much off the grid, and so I set myself up as I built things to be off the grid because I really expected for things to fall apart a lot quick, a lot more than they have. And I mean, I understood the dynamics of Mr. Globaloni and what they're doing. Basically, we are going to go back to about 3 billion people by 2000, somewhere between 2044 and 2050. So right now it's 2000, let's say 25. So the next 25 years, there's we're going to lose about 3 billion people. And, won't be a pretty sight. So, but just if you want a little heads up, go watch the movie Zardos with Sean Connery, made in the 70s. Right? He had another really good movie called Time Bandits, and he had another good. That was a period where he stopped being James Bond because he didn't want to be typecast, and then he did all these really interesting, like Man Who Would Be King. That was a really good one. Let's take those Zippy Pop portable Johns are handy. About Bulgarian. Yep. Guy, yep. They blew that thing up. They wanted that out of the way. That was as long as it wasn't a big highway going to it, it was okay. But they built it right next to where an interstate was going to go. They kind of did that on top of to the oligarchy. Yep, something like that. Yep. But it's been going on. It's been doing that forever. What do you think the Tower of Babel was? Right? It was a guide stone. What happened to it? So, and most people don't realize we've been here probably mean, we as a species, human, Homo sapiens sapiens, probably been here at least a million years, if not a couple of million, in different iterations. When you look at all the sophisticated pyramid construction all around the world, not just in Egypt, but I mean, in Cincinnati, there are pyramids, there are pyramids every friggin' where. Where I'm at, one of the reasons I'm here is that there's some pretty interesting megalith structures here. No one, well, that's just a rock, you know. I mean, if you just look down at the ground, you see all kinds of tools. You see not just arrowheads, but tools. You know, carving tools, scraping tools, cutting tools. Well, that's just a rock. I don't even show people anymore. But I used to have mystery school here, and that was pretty fun. And I had one up there at the school in Virginia, where John Boy is, and that was pretty good. I did that 3 summers. The one here, I just did one. Cause no one, I'll give you 300. I just want a certificate that says I'm a shaman. No, don't kind of work that way. And for 19.99, you can get two. It don't work that way. So he said, "Oh, look at that! 1 hour, 1 minute, and 1 second. I love that. So keep going, Janie. Let's have some more insight that you're throwing our way. Let's see how much time we got. Oh yeah, we got another 20 minutes, give or take. So, do 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 do. Anyway, and all you got to do, and another great, A Life of Brian, right? They're nailed across. All you gotta do is look on the bright side of life. Do 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 do. Right? Do 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 do. That it was great. Those guys were brilliant. They made that and basically started putting commercials out. The Catholic Church said, if you go watch this movie and you're a Catholic, you're excommunicated. They made another $100 million. Just the Catholic Church saying, don't do that. Everybody else went. So those boys are smart cookies. And the other one, Meaning to Life, that was a good one. Mr. Creosote, that was me. I was bigger than Mr. Creosote, and he blew up. You know, Rich people were in a fancy restaurant, and Mr. Creosote was like one last little bit in his mouth, and he blew up because he was, he was farting up a storm. Somebody lit a match, bam, boom. Have a good day on the town. Yeah, my chauffeur will come and get me soon. So we're going to another church, and so this guy is it. I want to not make him, but help him. Let me help you, help others, right? Become the next Tammy Faye slash Billy Graham slash Jimi Hendrix slash um, Jerry Falwell, and but in a good way. And I know all those guys. They were all nice guys. They just kind of leaned into one side. You can't, lean into one thing more than another because that you can get carried away. Just inertia will take you down that hill. I try to just float along, right? Do God's, in every day and every way, takes a piece of the earth and make it stronger by co-creation with God, right? And being a servant of Jesus's unconditional forgiveness. So being amongst, so I was here for 20 years. The only thing dealt with was Mr. Bunny, Mr. Squirrel, and Madam Butterfly, right? My three friends, right? all I ever did was like kind of watch the grass grow. And I mean, the first 18 years, I was not just here all the freaking time. I was doing a lot of other stuff. So, but I mean, this was like, Superman had his um, sanctuary of ice, right? This was my sanctuary of green, right? The deep green. And there was nobody here. It was so nice when there was nobody here. But once the cockroaches and all started moving in, God said, "Listen, what do you want for another 20 years? Watch the grass grow? No, no, no. These guys will help you sharpen your point back up. So I'm sending you out to do some more stuff. And these guys, and the main tool you're going to need is empathy and forgiveness. So these guys will help you do that, and do it quick. Not like take years. And it's true. They've been here less than 2 years, and I have sharpened those. I mean, I always have skill sets, but I had lived in the land of hedonism for about 12, 15 years, and that takes your. I was still Mister way more, you know, uh, empathetic. I mean, because that was part of my skill set. Because I could get everyone on the same page. So instead of big muscles, see, this used to be a chicken fat. I mean, I weighed, almost 500 pounds, and so this was some serious skin here, but it was pretty good. That skin's kind of assimilated. Yeah, I got a few little. You could tell I had a lot of skin, but a few affairs to remember about 2 or 3 years ago. I lost I lost 260 pounds, but I still had a lot of skin. And my sweetie used to call me Flipper. Could say it, skin, and it kind of when I was wearing clothes, you couldn't really tell that I had a lot of skin there because I was pretty skinny. And but when I took the shirt off, you could see it there. And she said, that looks like flippers. You got flippers. You're a seal or a dolphin or So that was her nickname for me, Flipper. So it was cute. It was cute. Mine was Honey Bunch. She was such a sweetie, and she was a real flower child, and we were both refugees from the flower children period. She was a little kid. I was in my 20s, and so when I was 68, she was 38, I think, something like that. We made a cute couple. We did. We did. She was tall. I mean, I'm 6 foot, and she was that much taller than me. Very, very athletic, and so I could not run like she did. She was a jogger. She was a bicyclist. She was an athlete. Right? She was a warrior, really. I think she's one of a few women who ever got through the U.S. Army Ranger School, and she was an officer and a scientist. And she, I'm gonna sign up for the Ranger School. And she was in her class. She was numero uno, so she was a kind of girl. And but she loved me because I made her laugh. I tickled her fancy, and no matter how bad I hurt, I would dance with her all night long because I'm a dancing fool. She loved to dance, and she had nobody to dance with. People were too scared of her. And she looked like a military Angela Davis. So, but anyway, she used to call me Flipper. So, uh, let's see. 109. Two people there. Jane, you're holding up your end of this live chat amazingly. Keep up doing a good job here. I'm just doing the stream of conscious like I kind of always do. And again, you guys just keep being your better self. Just do your best. Don't have to be perfect. Right? Just do your best. Don't try. Do. No, you have to succeed. Just do your best. Because if you fail miserably and you've been doing your best, you'll learn a lot of stuff. Meaning, I have three guardrails, right? Doctor, do no harm. Do not get involved unless you have a workable exit strategy to get the innocent out of harm's way. And third, do not get involved unless you're going to learn something that will make things better. So those are my three guideposts, you know, guardrails. And it works pretty good for me. So everyone out there needs to think on what their guardrails are, right? And if you want to talk to me about it, do the wake42 at Gmail, right? You want me to read your palm, send me an image of your hands, and I will on that email, the do the wake42 at Gmail, and we can go from there. Right? If you live in America, you got a phone, I can give you a buzz, right? If you are on WhatsApp, I can WhatsApp you, and so that's about it. So it's 11, 11, 11. I love it when it does that. And so I think I'm going to go. I was cooking something. I want to check up on it, make sure it's okay. So let's see. End stream. Okay, so I'm going to end stream here. I love you guys. Maybe tomorrow. Depends on the weather. Today's a beautiful day. It was supposed to be rainy, 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 and it's a beautiful, beautiful day. But right now, I'm under a tree. If I'm out in the sun, it'd be like a microwave oven. So, between now and by 3, it goes a little further. So it's not so bad. Okay, out of here.